Inside Parliament.
Is, Mr. Speaker, I do not support the finance bill. And I'll give you the reasons why I don't support it. One, I don't support it because it's devoid of a strong policy underpinning.
Nataka niseme sisi kama Wakenya tuendelee kusimama kidete, tusingoje wanasiasa tunapoona mambo yanatukwaza, haswa haya ya kiuchumi. Tusimame sisi wenyewe kidete tuweze kusikia sauti zetu zikizungumziwa.
Mr. Speaker, we also bring amendment on that. So what I want to tell the people of Bori, because that is who I represent, we will make sure with the consultation with the Finance Committee, in agreement with them, we all delete those punitive clauses that are detrimental to their expectations and pass the bill.
A decision was made. A bill that would affect millions of Kenyans.
I want to ask this House that now we cancel all this bill, we go back to the budget, we start now from there, we see we cut off, and then we start from the scratch. But this matter of bringing another new finance bill when the Kenyans are still struggling with the previous finance bill is like we members of parliament, we are doomed. We are doomed. Members of parliament, we are doomed. I'm telling you, we are doomed. Watu wa Kenya kwanza mmenisikia?
Debated, contested, but ultimately passed.
Yes, 195. No, 106. Spoiled, 3. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
For some, it was policy. For others, it was pressure. A burden already struggling Kenyans could not carry. Outside those walls, the reaction was immediate. Across the country, frustration grew. Young people began asking questions. Why us? It began with quiet conversations, online posting, whispers among young people who felt unheard. Across Kenya, a generation was growing tired of struggling, tired of waiting, and tired of promises that never seemed to come. Posts, tweets, messages shared from one phone to another, and they decided to step out. Small groups holding placards, raising their voices, but something was changing. The message spread, and suddenly they were no longer few. They became thousands, young, determined, and impossible to ignore. The streets filled and voices grew louder. Tension began to rise. police line were formed. Warnings were, but Gen Z keep going. What followed changed everything. Confusion, running crowds. In chaos, lives were lost.
Wanatuua. Kwa nini wanatuua? Kwa nini wanatuua?
These events mark a critical turning point on how we respond to grave threats to our national security. I assure the nation that the government has mobilized all resources at the nation's disposal to ensure that a situation of this nature will not recur again at whatever cost. I thank our security officers who were on duty today for applying themselves to the best of their abilities in the defense of Kenya and its people. Accordingly, I have directed all the organs of our national security to deploy measures to thwart any attempt by dangerous criminals to undermine the security and stability of our country. As the people of Kenya go to bed tonight, I give you my assurance that your security, that of your families and property, remains my utmost priority. To the young people of Kenya, who I must thank for helping our country organize our democratic discourse around issues, I thank you and assure you that the conversation you have begun around pertinent issues of our nation will continue to inform our policy and governance decisions. As I promised on Sunday, this conversation will not be in vain. I will not only champion for the cause of issue-based, policy-oriented, and tribeless engagement on critical national issues, but also provide a framework for this conversation to be processed and its outcomes implemented. However, our national conversation on any subject matter must be conducted in a manner that respects and honors the foundational values upon which our nation is established, namely constitutionalism, the rule of law, and respect for institutions. It is very painful for Kenya that a conversation this crucial was hijacked by dangerous people who have caused us the kind of loss we have incurred as a nation today. It is possible that the criminals who rained terror on innocent people and attempted to challenge our law enforcement deployments are still determined to continue with their dangerous behavior. I assure the nation of the government's determination to fulfill its constitutional duty of protecting the people of Kenya against all forms of harm. I hereby put on notice the planners, financiers, orchestrators, and abettors of violence and anarchy that the security infrastructure established to protect our republic and its sovereignty will be deployed to secure the country and restore normalcy.
But even in grief, the movement did not disappear. The voices continued, and this time they were moved towards Parliament. A moment that will define protest forever.
All sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya and must be exercised within the rights enshrined in the Constitution. That is why we are here.
Thousands moved forward to be heard, but standing in their way were lines of security, heavily armed police, barriers meant to hold the crowd back. What followed was chaos. Gen Z overcame police and break way inside Parliament. Inside Parliament, scenes of disorder unfold. Furniture overturned, offices disrupted, symbols of authority shaking. It was a moment that shook the nation.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I'm here to address you. You must go. Ruto must go. Kwapa na hatuendi. Kwapa tunalala huku na hatuendi. We don't fear you guys. You hypocrites. We don't fear you.
Accordingly, I have directed all the organs of our national security to deploy measures to thwart any attempt by dangerous criminals to undermine the security and stability of our country.
The president finally addressed the nation.
The country witnessed widespread expression of dissatisfaction with the bill as passed, regrettably resulting in the loss of life, destruction of property, and desecration of constitutional institutions. On my own behalf, and on behalf of these members and many other Kenyans, I send my condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones in this very unfortunate manner. Consequently, having reflected on the continuing conversation around the content of the Finance Bill 2024, and listening keenly to the people of Kenya who have said loudly that they want nothing to do with this Finance Bill 2024, I concede, and therefore I will not sign the 2024 Finance Bill, and it shall subsequently be withdrawn, and I have agreed with these members that that becomes our collective position.
For many, the speech brought a moment of pause. Lives went on to normal, but families were left mourning. Gen Z were left mourning their fellow heroes who lost lives fighting for their country. They stood for their voices and rights. They may have fallen, but their message still echoes. A generation made its mark because once a people find their voices, silence is never seen again. A moment that Kenyans will never forget.